Hello my dearios and me Carly Wobbles. I hope everyone's well. Sorry it's been a few days since I posted last. Been a bit of a busy time. I thought today it's nice and early in the morning. I'm gonna make lunch and then I'm going to leave lunch until more like lunchtime to eat lunch. But I thought I'll get it going. I'm also trying out a new video editor thingy on this phone. So this may go very well, or it may go very badly. Obviously, my hair, my beard, it's already going badly, but there we go. So I've started off in my big red pan. I've started off with a good old bit of bouillon. Now this here is gluten free. It is vegan. It is very salty, so you don't want much. But it does taste rather nice. I've also added into that a little bit of black pepper because I love black pepper. And I'm also about to do some garlic. So bouillon, black pepper, garlic, little tiny bit of sunflower oil. Oil what has come from a flower. Now at this point I'm going to show you a little trick that I learned off of a chef. If any of my old work colleagues are following, you may recognise this. I went on a team building day where we learned how to cook something. But anyway, I've got myself a plate. I'm going to grind up just a little bit of salt on there. Not a lot, just a bit. I'm using this pink Himalayan salt. You don't need much of this. It's very salty compared to normal salt. And it's about 85 billion times better for you. I don't know if that maths is perfect, but it is better for you. It's not refined, it's not mixed with glass or any stupidity like your basic table salt is. Now with this bit of salt, I'm going to add these lovely, tasty garlic cloves. Now, what I tend to do is just crack them a bit and then obviously peel off all this pink stuff. You don't want anything particularly that you can't eat on there. This one's gone a bit old and it's got a little bit funny with its thing, so I'm just going to snip off some of the bit where it's the pink outer bit has kind of got ingrained to itself, and I'm going to take away that bit of membrane there. There we go. So that's garlic one. And then I've got another one here. Let's pull that apart. Oh yeah, these are a couple of slightly older ones. That's garlic too. Now I've chopped off so much of that. Now all I'm going to do is get a little bit more garlic. Because we like a bit more garlic. I'm a very garlicky person. I enjoy lots of garlic. I dropped it. It's okay. I got it. So, we're going to add another bit of garlic. Excuse me. Going to add another little bit of garlic there just to make up for the amount of garlic we've chopped off. So now I've got slightly younger bits of garlic, and they're so young that they really don't want to drop out of their pink cases. There we go. So I've got two smaller bits of old garlic and one piece of new garlic, and I think the trick now to make sure that we're cooking this right and we get the flavours balanced right, the trick now is to make sure we add just a tiny little bit, just because I think it's going to need that bit of flavour. We just need a little tiny bit of garlic. There we go. And you've got some garlic and some garlic. I'm just going to top up a tiny bit more salt on the top there. Now what the salt does is the salt will pick up all of that juice, all of those oils from the garlic as you crush them with a fork. Don't bother with your garlic press things because half of the flavour gets stuck to the metal things that you're pressing together and doesn't go anywhere near your food. And then I like doing it this way. That salt not only catches the oils but also actively pulls them out of the garlic into the salt, and that in turn will make its way into the overall flavour of your food. But mashing it like this as well just makes it a bit more fun. Okay, garlic press might be slightly quicker, but a garlic press will be, like I say, it will be leaching flavours away from your pan rather than adding them in. So keep doing this until it's nice and mushy. Once it's nice and mushy, stick your garlic into your pan. Garlic. 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 Some of it doesn't want to come off the plate. I've mushed it that much, it wants to be part of the plate. So, that's my garlic in my big red pan with my bouillon and with some pepper and with a little bit of salt and with a little bit of oil. So it's all in there nice and tasty. Isn't that nice? Potato, potato, red potato, long thin potato, other long thin potato, also known as carrots. Here we go. Just a brief word about these lovely peelings. A lot of people will take these and shove them in the bin or shove them in some other form of refuse, whatever, I don't know. Now, here's the thing. Look at the amount of peelings I've got just from these very few vegetables. These peelings were part of what I paid for when I bought the things. And I know that sounds ridiculous in some ways, but just look at the sheer mass of this. This is, what, 5 vegetables worth of peelings. Now, if you're like me, and my little family, we do a lot of growing of our own stuff. We grow spinach and peas and squashes and all sorts. So this stuff, rather than throw out what you paid for, why don't you collect it up, stick it into your compost bin. Get a compost bin. If you haven't got one, get one. Stick all this in there. Let it rot down properly, naturally, happily. Get eaten by 8 billion worms. You'll find that the amount of worms in there actually make it steam because they get it so hot. But anyway, let that rot down properly and then use it in your own garden. You can use it to grow your begonias, your daisies, your giant sunflowers. You can put it around your trees. You can put it around your crops that you're growing for yourself, which, let's face it, in this day and age, can only help anyone. Growing your own food is a fantastic way of knowing exactly what you're putting in your pan and exactly what you're putting in your mouth. But it's also a great way of making sure any of these vegetables that you have had to go and get from a shop, you're not wasting large amounts of what you paid for because you're reusing it. Quick question, how many people, when you've got all this and you're feeding your family and you've got hundreds of times of this every week, how many of you are shoving all this into the bin and then, because it's sunny and it's nice to do stuff in the garden, you're off down the garden centre and you're grabbing yourself huge bags of blooming compost? Why? This is compost.
Stick it in your compost bin. Ah.
Gentlemen, wash your vegetables. One very important thing that should be said on all cooking videos. When you're doing your veg, when you're doing anything really, make sure it is clean, properly clean, before you put it in your pan. Make sure your hands are clean properly before you start doing anything with them. That way, any bugs, any diseases that happen to have been on your food are then not on your food when they get in your mouth.
Hey everybody, it's time to get choppy!
Now, I'm sure there's going to be plenty of proper chefs out there who are going to go, oh, you want a little tiny vegetable knife and you want to do blah blah blah, or you're very delicate little blah blah blah. I'm not very good at little tiny vegetable knives. Give me the biggest daddy on the planet. So I'm going to take this and I'm going to do a delicate, and I mean very delicate, little intricate, just about here, very delicate, little intricate, just like that, and I'm going to get rid of that bit. And the same on this end. See, I'm just going to very delicately, very carefully, and very gently. Oops, that didn't work. There we go. Get rid of those stubby little ends like that. And the same again with the carrot. Very delicately get rid of that end, and very delicately get rid of that end. Oops, there we go. See, and then you end up with carrots that look a bit like that. You don't have to do that with potato. They don't have end bits, and they don't have end bits. What potatoes do have sometimes is little eyes. Most of these I've already cut out. But anything that looks like it's sort of actively growing into a root, you want to hack that off as if it's the most ugly piece of junk on the planet. At the moment, I should say my oven is on, or my hob ring is on, and warming up that lovely mixture of the bouillon, the pepper and the garlic and the oil. So I'm now just going to chop through this lot, and I'm sure there's going to be people that say, oh, you want to do them lengthways and do it this way and do it that way and blah blah blah. And I'm sure if you're trying to impress someone, there's certain wonderful ways you can do that. I'm just cooking for me for today, so I don't really care. I'm just going to lock them into whatever little roundy shapes I feel like lopping them into. I should probably say specifically for any children out there, obviously when you're working with a knife, don't hack your fingers off, don't drop the knife and cut your foot off, don't throw the knife into the unfortunate body of the closest person to you. I have taken extra precautions. I'm ensuring that I'm cooking today whilst everybody else is out of the house. The only person likely to get hurt by my knife is going to be me or my cat. But, you know, use your brain, you know. Adults, I'm sure you'll understand all that. You don't want to go around hurting yourself. You don't want to go around hurting other people. If you do happen to be a small child and for some strange reason you're following this and trying to learn how to make this vegetable, whatever I'm making, my best advice is give the potato, the carrots, whatever you're cutting, and the knife to an adult. Give them to the adult and say, I'm terribly sorry, I really shouldn't be touching this. Please can you come and deal with my vegetables? Anyway, again, potatoes just the same. Just cut them any way you bloody like. I can't be bothered with all this precision. Oh, look, we can make little florets and then they can float on the surface of the... Oh, shut up. Just cut the damn vegetables up. Just going to mention at this point, you may notice I do cut my potatoes really quite thin and quite small. In fact, these are a bit bigger than I want them to be. And by all means, have chunky potatoes if you like. One thing I learned early on is the lovely thing about potatoes is they're great, but they can take an absolute age and a day to soften up and turn into something edible. If you cut them very small, very thin, you do end up getting them to cook a lot quicker. So this will just help them go soft and go the way I want them in my main meal that I'm preparing. But yeah, so well cut up. Another thing I will just briefly mention, these look a bit greeny at the moment. It's just because it's reflecting off a green t-shirt that I'm wearing. But anyone that's cooking with potatoes, do be very, very careful. If you get a potato that's gone green, do not cook. Do not cut it, do not even look at it, put it straight in the bin. I mean, yeah, cut it up and put it in your compost if you like, but get rid of it. Green potato will kill. It is highly poisonous. Green potato, it's actually where the potato itself has reacted to the light and you're starting to get that chloroform build up. Chloroform? Chlorophyll. Chlorophyll build up. Chloroform. Chlorophyll. You know, I'm going to have to look that up. Not the one that you put on a hanky in order to get laid. I'm talking about the one that makes the plants green. When that builds up in a potato, it's very poisonous to humans. Do not eat. Now I'm going to stick these in the pan. There we go. It's all cooking away lovely in there. I've got the garlic. And all the other stuff that's in there. I'll stick potatoes in. It's quite a hot pan, but I have just turned the heat down. And we're going to just pop that in there. We're going to pop the lid on. To get as much of that flavour around there as possible. Pop the lid on. You don't need any water just at this stage. In fact, you do. You need a tiny bit of water. What I'm doing is just whacking a little bit in the old kettle. Got the kettle on a short boil. Dark amount of cells for about 4 hours whilst my kettle works. In fact, I'm just going to dribble in a little bit of cold water to start with, just to help fluff some, stop it sticking and whatever. Ideally, you want to stick a bit of hot water in there. So it's going to take about an hour for my kettle to work because, yeah, we have old things. And then add that to that, leave it to soften all the veg for a while. Then we're going to go with some hot water. Again, not putting a huge amount in. I'm not drowning everything, but there's enough in there just to help keep that moisture and make sure everything cooks well. So that's in there doing its job. Next thing I'm going to add, by the way, this is a Pyrex pan. We find the Pyrex pans is very good. There are other pans on the market. There's proper expensive Le Crust or Le Crusoe or whatever it's called, and all sorts of other things. But what I've discovered is you'll find pans and things that are good for you, and you'll find pans and things that are really a bit naff. This one we kind of like. Now the next thing that I'm going to add in, and this is going to sound or seem like an incredibly large amount when you consider I'm cooking just for me, but it really is the staple part of the food, is this beautiful plant-based, meat-free mince. This particular one is from Asda. There are other shops, other brands of mince and meat-free mince, and why have I got a pair of scissors that won't cut a bag? Other brands of vegetable matter and vegan food does exist, and some of them come in bags that are easier to open, and some of them have owners opening these bags who have scissors that are actually bloody sharp. Whereas my scissors, my collywobbles and my Deerios, are not sharp. Well, so think about it. Do me a favour. If you can just take a pause there, look down at your screen and remember that underneath the pictures here, there is a little bit that says like and subscribe. I think there's a little thumbs up button, and you can follow me, whatever that means, because obviously I'm worth following. And all that kind of stuff. But you know what you're doing. I don't need to teach you how to use an internet. So right, it's had a good couple of minutes with all my vegetables going on in here. Again, I'm not too worried if they're not ultra soft just yet, because it's basically, it's like a form of stew. This, it will take a good long time to cook down anyway, so it's got plenty of time for it to sit there and soak in all those lovely waters and get all that lovely flavour up. So now I'm sure I'm going to have to add in a disclaimer here. Please make sure all your food is properly thawed out. Please make sure you don't put frozen food into your cooking. Please don't do what I do. Mince, meat the vegetables. There we go. So yeah, this is a vegan mince. As I say, it comes from the rather well-known supermarket that I mentioned earlier. Ingredients wise, I have textured soya protein, apparently. Got rapeseed oil, yeast extract, malt barley extract, onion powder, something beginning with G that I can't read anymore because of the way I had to open the bag. But that comes in powder form, apparently. There's also corn flour, salt, white pepper, dextrose. There's nothing in this. There's nothing in this lovely mince that is coming from a place of silly. There's a word I'm thinking of. It starts with C. Can you guess what it is yet? Because I haven't got a clue. Chemicals! That's it. It doesn't come from a place of chemicals and silliness. It comes from a place of basic, good vegan ingredients. And as I say, it's gone in there. A little later on, I'll give it a mix. We'll see how it's looking then. All right. But that basically is the cooking process I'm going to go through. That will take a long time to simmer down, so I'm going to leave it in place, let it do what it does. We'll catch up with it again in a little while after it's turned from ingredients into food. Okay, so there it is there, just happily sitting on me cooker. I just thought I'd add in, there's a little secret that I found out, gents, okay? Don't tell the missus, okay? This is important. It's a man secret. You see this? This is a sink, right? Okay. Now, it's important, as you know, that we tidy up after ourselves because we're the men and we should be able to do a bit of housework, really. And women will tell you to wash up properly and they'll go for it all with you. I've discovered this cool little hack, right? This works a treat. So what we're going to do, we're going to take things like our knife that we've been cooking with. I've just realised that's there for no reason. We're going to take our knife that we've been cooking with. I'm going to take the knife, right, and I'm just going to pop it here a minute in the sink. We're going to take, I'm not going to take that, that's my spatula that I'm using to stir this occasionally. Don't forget to stir it occasionally, not regularly or anything, not all the time, just now and again. There's also another little knife that I found. There's the peeler that we found, right? Here's the fork that I used to crush the garlic, and here's the plate that I used to crush the garlic, and then here is the chopping board I used to cut up the vegetables. Okay, I've got all that. The other thing I'm going to add in, this is going to be a bit different. Okay, I know it's a little bit different. The other thing I'm going to do is just add in the empty packet from my mince. Okay, now I know what you're thinking. You're putting your mince packet with your oh, I know what else I've got. I'm also going to stick in, actually no I'm not, I was going to put the garlic peelings and things in, and then I realised I can stick them in my compost bin. Bit more money floating around my garden rather than in the bin. Anyway, so I know what you're thinking. Bit weird sticking out with your washing up. Right, let me show you this amazing hack that I discovered. Right, are you ready? Ready? This is amazing. Ready? Stand by in 3, 2, 1. Pop that there. Oh, look. Oh, what washing up? Honey, there's no washing up. Honey, I can't find the washing up. I can't do it. I can't do it. Okay. I don't know how that's possible. 60 miles away, visiting Grandma. No way she's seen the video. I get a text message come through literally as I finish filming that bit saying, don't forget to keep up with your washing up. Oh, how do they do that? How? I mean, seriously. In the meantime, I thought it'd be nice to introduce the bunny rabbits. Here we've got Mia, and over here we've got Cinnamon. And the two of these live together. They don't really get on that well. Cinnamon kind of likes Mia and they get on well that way, but Mia is very protective of her home. She hates it if you open a door, let alone anything else, and if you put your hand in there and start messing about without her being comfortable, you risk losing an entire arm. She is an absolute demon when she's angry, but she's sweet as well. So yeah, two bunny rabbits that we're looking after. Also at the moment in here we're looking after, I don't know how well you can see, there's some stick insects in a cagey baggy thingy. So yeah, part of my daily chores at the moment is looking after these little beauties. So they're cooking. As you can see, all of that mince is now thawed out properly. It's all been cooking rather nicely for quite a while. Smells absolutely gorgeous. So I'm fogging the old camera up a bit there. There we go. Anyway, so that's doing its thing over there. In the meantime, I'm going to set this up on top of the soya bottle. Right, cup, into cup. Little bit of rosemary, dried rosemary. I've got loads of fresh rosemary. I don't know why I didn't go out and pick some. But dried will do for now because I'm lazy today. Chili, crushed chili bits. Chili bits, not too many of these, unless you want to burn your mouth out. About that. Say that's about half a teaspoon. That's about 3/4 teaspoon of rosemary, and about half a teaspoon of chilies. And then to that, I'm going to add. I don't need too much of this because remember we put quite a bit of bully in earlier, but I've got some vegan instant gravy. It's vegan and it's instant gravy. So I'm going to put this in here as 1 big teaspoon and maybe 1 semi-big teaspoon. When I say 1 big teaspoon and 1 semi-big teaspoon, as you can probably see, my measuring device for food is, I'll shove that in there and see what it does. And I'm not dead yet. Right, so gravy powder, rosemary, chilies, and then we're just going to wait for some hot water. Now this is going to be incredibly thick to start with, but don't worry too much about that. We're just getting it from powdery solids to a slight liquidy formation. I know it's going to be incredibly thick because I've put enough gravy powder in there to be incredibly thick. Oh, that smells lovely. Okay. Oh. So this, we're going to move over to my filming platform, which is built out of a Flora tub, which is a vegan butter, a glass jar and a pan. And I put that up here and it almost films the food. If by any chance the food comes very close to the camera, it's because my phone's fallen off. So here we've got my lovely food bubbling away, and we're going to add in this cup full of lovely mixture. That's why I wasn't so worried about it being a bit thick, because I knew we were going to add it to here. In fact, there's still quite a bit powdery bit at the bottom, so I'm just going to add a touch more water to that, let that blend a bit more. And again, we're just going to drop that in there. I'm going to get as much as we can. And mixy mix. Now here's the clever bit, we're not done yet, we've got one more main ingredient to go in yet. Hot! Top tip, don't burn your hands on splashy bits. Right, there we go. Now, last ingredient. I think this is going to last me a good couple of days rather than just today. We'll see how we do. Last ingredient. I have a can of chopped tomatoes. Chopped tomatoes go fantastically in vegan food like this. Now, half the reason I'm making all this, half the reason I wanted to make all this lovely vegan food is to show, you know, with the exception of this lovely corn mince in here, everything else that you carnivores shove in your stews, your carrots, your potatoes, peas, broccoli, whatever else you stick in your stewy, soupy thingies, It's all vegan. The only thing you add that isn't vegan is the meat. Here, all I've done is replace the meat with a soya-based product, which does an incredible job. That's how easy it is to go vegan. Now, if anyone can tell me that it was more difficult for me to open the vegan mince than it would be a normal mince. I know I had problems today because my scissors were messed up. But for people that go, you know, they you say about veganism, and one of the things they say is, oh, it's so difficult to cook vegan. How is this difficult? It's easy. Trust me, it's very easy, and there are so many products these days that make it more and more easy. It's fantastic. You have to give it a go. If you are one of those ones that likes to sit there and go, well, I can't eat that, there's no meat in it, it's not normal. It's fine. Fine. If you're happy killing animals and causing all that abuse and everything and paying for it, fine. But for those of you who, you know, even carnivores, you know, I don't have a problem with meat eaters who have got the strength to say, do you know what, maybe I'll just put a lot more veg in my diet, maybe I'll reduce the meat. Fantastic. You know, half a step is as good as any step in order to get in the right direction for all of us. There are so many things about, you know, the environment, the water consumption, the amount that's grown just to feed animals, and then the amount of humans that are starving, which is disgusting. There's evidence to show we're growing about 9 times more food, growing it, vegetables, about 9 times more food than we would need to feed every single human being on the planet for the year. Okay? Every single. And I don't mean all of us, you know, white privileged Eastern, where have I come from? Western people. I don't mean all of us, you know, technology, more expertise in technology people from China. I don't mean just the big people in America that think they own the entire universe. Everybody, from Bill Gates and Elon Musk all the way down to some little lad struggling to survive in Ethiopia or any other country where they struggle. We make enough food to feed all of us properly, healthily, well, you know, to keep us all chunky, if you like, 9 times over, just in crops. But what happens? And there's statistics online that prove this, over 90% of all of the crops that are grown, all of the crops, are shoved into our cows and pigs and sheep and other domesticated farm animals. And then what happens? Well, all of us rich guys can afford the meat. All those in less well-off countries can't. And then they end up starving, dying. And that's disgusting. How the hell can that be the way this world is set up? Something is very wrong there. Anyway, that's getting a little bit deep for today when I'm just talking about my lovely cooking. I wish you all the best, my dearios and collywobbles. Like, subscribe, press buttons, write something if you like. And I will catch you next time I remember to make a video. Peace out, everybody.